Attention listeners! On October 29th at 5 p.m. Pacific, join WizBiz with Alex and Eric for a thrilling Halloween live stream on Twitch. We will be discussing Fiona and Cake and divining using a Ouija board and pendulum. It will be spooky fun! Don't miss out on the Halloween live stream extravaganza. Subscribe to our Twitch channel to stay updated and be part of the spine-tingling action. Visit twitch.tv/WizBizPodcast and hit that subscribe button. Be prepared for a Halloween experience like no other. We will see you there.
Time to get real! I want to see some crazy WizBiz!
What's the magnet made out of, Ding Dong?
I want to see some of that WizBiz.
This castle is in unacceptable condition! Unacceptable! Mathematical!
You can't like that.
Bacon pancake!
Wait, who's starting?
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the WizBiz podcast. This is a podcast where we discuss Adventure Time, which is a cartoon. And in this episode, we are going to be discussing in particular Season 3, Episode 3, Memory of a Memory, and Episode 4, Hitman. My name is Eric, and
My name is Alex.
and that is our introduction. Alex, how's it going?
It's going great. Everything's coming up Millhouse. The world is continuing to spin. Other things, platitudes, lots of platitudes. Lots of words. How are you?
I'm good. I am back home again after another trip. I have once again, I just feel like I've been traveling a little bit too much, so I'm a little worn out by that. Today I got groceries for like the first time in maybe 2 months. I've been gone so much that I haven't been able to buy groceries and stuff, so I spent a ton of money on groceries, and then I had one of those things where I was like, man, I'm hungry. What do I eat? And then I stared at my pile of groceries and I couldn't figure it out.
I do that often. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I did something really stupid yesterday. I cooked some rice in the morning, and I cooked it incredibly well. Like, the rice was just perfect. I've finally discovered all of the secrets to cooking Calrose rice. So it's perfectly fluffy, just sticky enough that you can eat it with chopsticks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I cooked it, made my breakfast with it, and then completely forgot about it until evening. And I walked into the kitchen and I was like, oh shit, there's a pot of rice on the stove that I never put away. So I had to chuck the whole thing.
Oh. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. I suppose our audience probably doesn't care.
No, I was trying to remember. There's a thing where eating old Chinese food, like old rice, can kill you, and I couldn't remember what the reasoning behind it is.
That's the thing. Like, you need to refrigerate it as quickly as possible.
Yeah. You know what you can tell the audience about? I was away, too. I went to the Sou'wester Writers Retreat thingamabob.
That's right.
Last
How was
week.
it?
It was good. Everything was great. The place was cool. My only complaint is that I was way too large of a human to fit in the RV that I was in. It's like
Are you too tall?
Yes, and just chew everything. Like, I hit my head leaving the RV, I'm going to say 75% of the time I left. Because it's like, it's up to like my eyebrow line. It's like even ducking, you're not there. And were I either 2 inches taller or 30 pounds heavier, I literally couldn't sit on the toilet. It is just, there's no, like, it's not made for a person my size. The bed was too small. Like, these are not complaints. They gave me a discount to stay at a place, like a steep ass discount, to stay there and get writing done. So, like, thank you very much to them. They're terrific. I just, in a perfect world, I would stay in somewhere that is more suited to a person that is, maybe a little north of 6 foot, but like if
Yeah.
you're like 5'9", man, that place would be perfect.
Hey, I'm 5'9".
Yeah. Well, that's why I said that's the only reason I said you'd like it there is that is your
Well,
height.
yeah. I did live in an RV for about a year, too. So I'm kind of used to the restrictions.
It's not. It's just that it was a particularly small RV. The other ones that were there, I feel like would have worked. Also, the shower head was below my neck. Mm-hmm. So that was fun to try to figure out how to shower, because if I squatted enough to get the water on my head, my knees would now be touching one side of the shower and my back nearly touching the other, because I'm somewhat large and it's a small shower. And it became, let's just say, I was there for 4 or 5 days, and I may have skipped a few because it was really fucking irritating. But no, man, the place is great.
Awesome.
We're by Cape Disappointment, which I took a hike through, which was really good. Very pretty. I went to a Dead Man's Cove, which I realized I was
Sweet.
walking by myself and I saw a sign that said dead man and pointing like in a direction. I'm like, man, this is some white ass privilege right here. Like, I'm a big tall guy. Like, I'm walking in the woods by myself, walking towards a sign that says you're going to die. And I'm like, yeah, everything's good. Because,
This is normal.
yeah, it's just very, it was very pretty there. It was great. I came to the realization that, got a reinterpretation of how to be a writer, which was good, which mostly revolved around, I can't believe I just wasted like 5 days of my life and like a fuckload of driving so I could sit at a different table. It's like, I just need to write in my fucking apartment. And that was like this, like, oh shit, it is as easy as that.
That's kind of cool. So you actually got stuff done.
I did. I wrote, my goal going there was to finish two of the short stories that I have unfinished, work on a third. And that's exactly what I did. I probably did not that many words, like, I don't know, 2,000-3,000 words.
Yeah. I mean, that's not horrible.
No, it's fine. And
Given
then,
the fact that you've been struggling with not writing at all for so long.
And I finished the two. I mean, the main thing is I finished the 2 short stories. Like, they're not like ready to be read by, publishers or anything, but like there's a very readable, draft, which I've always been good at zhuzhing up a draft. So, my complete brokenheadedness around writing, I've decided is over. I even wrote one since I've been back, which is like, all sorts of good. And yeah, there we
That's
are.
exciting. Well, and also you didn't end up trapped in eternal sleep forever.
I don't know. Let me think about that. I'm in my apartment. Yeah, no, I didn't. Though the first night I woke up, so I never go on vacation. It's just not something I do because I'm both poor and I don't really have the urge to wander. But the first night I woke up in my apartment, I was like very disoriented because I was expecting to be in the RV. And I was like, where the fuck is everything? What the hell is going on? Like, there was like a 20-second moment of not panic, but like very, very confused. Because like I was reaching out for something that was keeping on the kind of the nightstand area next to my bed in the RV. And you have to like reach over a little plastic divider dealy. And I was doing that in my apartment, which leads you to air if you're doing that in my bedroom. I was just reaching. I'm like, where's my thing? And I was very confused. I'm like, oh, did it drop on the floor? And I'm like, no, it can't be at the floor. And they're like, what? That's a different floor. What the hell? Okay, I'm good. So yes, maybe I am stuck in a dream. Much like
Maybe
much like Marceline and
Marceline
Ash.
was. Yes.
Not for nothing. And this might be saying a little bit more about my life than you care to know. But I'm pretty sure in the past, I've known someone named Ash who went by like Rag Wizard who sold me a bag of powder. I'm pretty sure that's happened at some point.
I feel like that's a pretty typical Portland story.
Yeah.
This episode is a really good one because we do get a little bit of the glimpse. There are a number of episodes that have these sort of like flashbacks to right after the Mushroom War. Oh, and by the way, we are talking about season 3, episode 3, Memory of a Memory.
Yeah, good point. We should probably tell them the episode we're talking about.
So there's a point in the episode, actually, the main thing in the episode is Finn and Jake going back through Marceline's memories in order to blah, 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 blah. But they do see either the Mushroom War happening or the world in the aftermath of the Mushroom War in Marceline's memories. Because, you know, one of the things about Marceline is she is, you know, 1,000 years old.
A demonic hellspawn of a
And a
human
vampire.
and the king of the
Yeah.
Nightosphere.
Yeah.
What on that note, we've decided in the past that you know, off camera, Marceline's mom banged Hudson Abbey, and thus Marceline was born. What is
Yeah, I feel like
Ash?
that's just normal, isn't it? Isn't that always how babies get made?
No, but generally the king of the Nightosphere who survives on eating the souls of humans, you would think probably doesn't do much fucking.
Yeah, I mean, for all we know, he's only had sex once.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
that's it. But
yeah.
so what's Ash?
I don't know that that's ever made clear, but he's definitely some kind of wizard.
Yeah, he's like a shitty wizard though, because he looks a little goblin-y.
He does look a little goblin-y, I would agree. And he's got a Devilock haircut, which is the kind of haircut that the Misfits made popular.
Oh yeah, got it.
So
I was
maybe
like, I know
he's-
those words. I don't remember what they mean though.
Maybe he's a punk wizard.
Oh yeah, that's probably
Because
exactly
he's
it. Yeah.
definitely a little punk.
Yeah, like what a piece of shit.
I know, what a piece of shit.
I have known-
Like, memory abuse?
I'm
That's-
gonna sound totally incel here for a
Okay.
second. But I've known like a lot of friends that have fallen for partners of this level of shittiness, and I'm just like, why can I not find a relationship when
Well,
the Ashes of the world do?
Think
what
of
I
it this
realize
way,
is this.
Alex. You
What's that?
don't want the kind of partner who falls for pieces of shit.
Wait,
in
you're telling me
relationships.
I don't want to date Marceline?
I mean, everybody wants to date Marceline.
Yeah, dude. I don't know whether what butt your head's up, but like I'm telling you, yes, I want to date Marceline.
But you have to understand that, like, one of the things that we've been watching through these first few seasons is Marceline kind of coming back to some of her humanity, right? Like, she returns to humanity because of the friendship of Finn and Jake.
Yeah.
She returns to having feelings, to having a sense of morality, to not being a piece of shit. Because the Marceline before season 1 was kind of evil, or kind of didn't give a shit about what other people felt. And
Yeah,
it wasn't until
she was like a trickster, Loki, coyote type character.
yeah, but also she didn't really give a shit if she was going to cause any harm. And it wasn't until that episode with the ghosts where she realized that her trickery was going to cause irreversible harm to Finn and Jake, and that's when she started being like, oh crap, right, like, I know I'm terrifyingly all-powerful, but I can be a good person.
Yeah. I mean,
So the
I'm just saying,
Marceline-
fine. I
Yeah.
still want to date her though, like even
Okay, fine,
in her
but-
shitty areas, because I can remind her of her humanity with my soft-spoken words. I'll write her a poem. She
I
can play
think
bass
you need
to
to
it.
have a sense of heroic bravery like Finn, because, you know, Finn is so heroic and so brave that he inspires others, and I don't think either of us possess that kind of charisma,
But
that kind of those chutzpah.
he never ended up
doinglings.
dating Marceline though.
He didn't.
Ash did.
Yes.
So you know who wins in the end.
All right. Obviously, Marceline wins in the end because she
Yeah.
ends up with Peebs.
Also, yeah, bonus immortality. That's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in like a magical world. Like that sounds great. So anyway, if any vampires out there are listening, you know, hook a brother up. I mean, don't like not with them. I'm not giving you consent right now. We need to talk about like the ins and outs, because if it's like gross, like you know, your teeth are all weird and like your mouth
Oh
opens
man,
up
or
like
if
the
you just
strain
smell
or
like
something.
a corpse all the time.
Yeah. No, I mean like if there's like
Or if there's lots of murder involved, I'm not sure I'd be in for murder.
yeah, no, I mean like more like a sexy kind of vampire. Like I could break into blood banks and that's fine. You don't have to drink it from
No,
life.
what
Or
if
you could,
it's a
like, eat, like-
vampire? It could be a vampire that just drinks the color red like Marceline
Yeah,
does.
color red would be great, but I mean, you know, let's not. You can go to a butcher shop and pick up some pig's blood. You know, like if that works. I mean, I'm not saying I'm gonna be a vampire, but I'm listening. I'm keeping, you know, I'm opening that door. You know, I'm inviting them in, like that great Swedish movie. or wherever the
Whoa,
fuck
I
that
don't
was
think you're
from.
supposed to. You can't just invite all vampires in.
Not all vampires, sexy ones that can either drink red, pig's blood, and understand the concept of consent, which Ash does not because he is a prick.
How are the existing vampires supposed to know if those restrictions apply to them? Basically, you're saying they're only allowed to come into your house if they're sexy, if they drink the color red or drink pig's blood. Like,
They would be aware
does the
of that,
vampire
right?
have to self-evaluate?
Yeah, I mean,
How-
everybody
how
has to
does that ma-
self-evaluate.
Right, but is there like how does that particular vampire magic work?
Well, here's the thing: is I wouldn't want to date a human that doesn't self-evaluate. I want an introspective partner.
I'm not asking about the quality of self-evaluation. I'm asking about the quality of the vampire invitation rule.
Well, I mean,
Like, how does that work?
So, like, if you're a vampire and you're sexy, I mean, that's pretty easy to figure out. Look, I've been assuming you can look in a mirror. Look in a mirror. You know if you're sexy or not. Drinking
Don't you
pig's
think all
blood.
vampires believe that they're sexy?
I mean, I think if you're like Lestat or something, you know that.
Do you think Nosferatu walks around being like, gosh, I wish I was sexier, or thinking that he's not sexy?
Well, Nosferatu is more like the kind of monstery, gross vampire that I want nothing to do with. I'm looking for
but-
like a. I don't remember the movie very well, but David Bowie's sexy, and he was in that movie, The Hunger. So, like, maybe like one of those. Or
Maybe
no. You know what I want? Here's what I want. I want the Lost Boys, but they can also drink just the color red and exist on pig's blood.
Okay, so
And also
Kiefer
not that dumb
Sutherland.
rule that if you kill my dad, everybody dies, because that's stupid. In that
Wow.
movie, if you kill the king vampire, everybody dies. So here's what I want. I want a vampire.
My prediction is
I
you
want
have just confused every vampire into
No,
never getting involved with you.
It's very simple. Vampires that are allowed in my apartment are thus: sexy ones
Mm-hmm.
that are not going to hurt me or other humans, have the choice of drinking red or pig's blood or something like that, and that's it. I mean, it's a short list. And then if they say, "Hey, we want to gift you with this immortality thing," I have some questions like, if you get killed, do I die, a la the Lost Boys? Do we stop being ensouled if we do this? Do you know of the afterlife? If there is an afterlife, why would I sign up with this? Because, immortality would suck if there's a better thing afterwards. A lot of questions to be had. But what I'm saying is I'm open to the questions. And I want to kiss Marceline on her little forehead.
That's adorable. The rest of this episode, we should discuss the rest of this episode.
Yeah, probably.
We see Finn doing the his baby song, I think for the first time, right?
I believe this is the first
Yeah.
I'm a fat little baby or whatever you're saying.
Yeah. I can't remember what the last line of the song is, but it's so good.
I know he's
hold
like,
on.
I'm going to punch on your bum or something like that.
Yeah, and if you're mean, I'll punch you your bum or something. Hold on, I can find
Punch
the
all your
lyrics.
buns, I think it is.
If you're an evil witch, I will punch you for fun. Oh, yeah,
yeah.
he does say punch your buns a lot. Punch your buns.
That is infinitely better than any of those Eastern Star poems we read in a previous episode.
Oh my God, it is. Actually, you know what? I'll read the whole lyric so that everybody. I'll read it like it's a poem so that we can all enjoy it. Okay.
Please read it. Read the Tough Little Baby poem by Eric Arneson. Eric wrote this, by the way.
I'm a buff baby that can dance like a man. I can shake-a my fanny. I can shake-a my can. I'm a tough tootin' baby. I can puncha yo buns. Puncha yo buns. I can puncha yo buns. If you're an evil witch, I will punch you for fun.
Ginsburg clap for you. Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, so the point of the episode, we should probably talk about the episode a little bit, is
Yeah.
Ash tricks Marceline into a sleep spell so he can sneak into her mind, or trick Finn and Jake into sneaking into her mind to steal the memory of them breaking up, because Ash
Yes.
apparently wants to get back together. Totally understand it, dude. Just, the way you're going about it, shitty. We find out that they broke up because Ash gave away Marceline's prized teddy bear to an evil witch.
Hambo. That's Hambo, who ends
Hambo,
up being. Yeah, Hambo is an important MacGuffin later in the series too.
I do like that. So the one thing I like about the Ash thing is that it's not the typical stoner like layabout Gen X style thing where it's like he just doesn't care. He says, "Oh, I sold that teddy bear that you love so much." So he is
Yeah,
aware
he knows
of it's
yeah.
not like, "Oh, I didn't know you cared about it." It's not like some laid back Lebowski type thing. No, this is active jerkitude on display.
Yeah. Well, and because he literally says he sold it to a witch, and it's because she loved it so much that it was so valuable.
Yes.
Like
Which-
he's totally just using her emotions against her.
Yeah, and he's got pretty shitty magic skills, even with like a fancy new wand. So deal
Yeah,
with it.
his magic is pretty wimpy. It kind of makes me think he might be sort of like on the level of Abracadaniel, whom I don't believe we've met yet in the show, but
Yeah, I
he's
don't
kind
think
of
so.
apprentice level wizard. Because we do see that every once in a while. There's people who can use magic who aren't full wizard power, probably because they are not insane. and
Yeah.
we know that.
Remember that
in order to
episode
be
where Finn and Jake both learn like a shitload of magic, and then he never gets addressed again?
Dustomancy.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. In fact, that episode where Finn and Jake learn a ton of magic, that's like really early in season 1.
I think it's like episode.
The
8.
thing that's funny about it is it totally breaks so much. There's so little in there that's like Adventure Time continuity solid
100%,
that like
yeah.
sticks around, except for Bubo, the frog wizard, who does end up showing up in later episodes when the wizards become more of a
and
thing.
shows up in our logo.
Yeah. So that's kind of a funny thing, but and we also see Ash disguises himself as Rag Wizard,
Yes.
a wizard with no arms, who I don't think ever shows up again. Rag Wizard is just a one-off Ash thing.
Yeah. Well, it's possible that remember that episode. It happens later where Finn goes into like the stuffed sofa world and has an entire life. I love that episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation where Picard learns how to play the flute. Maybe there's a Rag Wizard in there, like the real Rag Wizard.
I feel like Pillow World or Sofa World would be the place.
Yeah.
If there
Because
was a place.
there's a ragdoll princess too.
True, yeah, and so it makes sense. Maybe Rag Wizard would be like Ragdoll Princess's court wizard.
Yeah. So maybe Ash killed him and took his skin.
Jeez, this sounds like something we should talk to Finn and Jake about. They should probably look into this.
Yeah,
I don't
no
think
doubt.
we need to.
But the
So-
important thing is that Ash gets hungies at 8:00.
And he wants a turkey sandwich with tomato and
So
pickles.
good. What a prick.
He's such a dick. The ending of that episode was so satisfying because they foiled Ash. They beat him up. He's apparently fairly invulnerable, so they can just beat on him, and he's, fine still. And then Jake does the Monty Python foot stomp, which
Yes. That was fun.
I loved.
He gets kicked in the ghoulies in the
You mean in the Doinglings?
yeah Doinglings. I don't know. It just seemed something to be remarked upon.
It's definitely a theme in these two episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that's that episode. I
Hold
like
on,
it.
hold on. I have a little bit of trivia for
Oh no,
this
I wasn't
episode.
moving on. I just meant like the recap.
Oh.
I have trivia as
Yeah.
well, but it's probably the same one. So you go.
First, Ash and the Rag Wizard are both voiced by Steve Agee, who was
Steve
on
Agee,
Sarah. Yeah, Agee, is that his name?
Agee, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
assuming that's the
he's-
comedian Steve Agee, because there's a guy called
it's
that.
a comedian. Yeah,
Okay,
he was
yeah.
on the Sarah Silverman show,
Yeah,
and
Steve
he was
Agee, yeah.
on Peacemaker.
Yeah.
And Peacemaker is such a fun show.
It is.
It is
Yeah.
great. Highly recommend it. And then Baby Marceline was played by Ava Akers, who was Katya Belyakov in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And you're not going to remember who this is. Katya Belyakov is the little girl with the mind control powers who is responsible for Agent May's backstory.
I do remember who that is. She's the one. That's how Agent May got the nickname of Cavalry or something like that.
Cavalry.
Yeah.
Cavalry.
Oh yeah,
Not
Cavalry is like
Calvary.
where Jesus hung out. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is kind of cool. It means both of them were on superhero shows.
Yeah, and I
funny.
think I'm not sure, but I think Agent May, who's played by, remind me. Do you remember off the top of your head?
I can never remember her name.
I can't remember. She was on The
It's-
Mandalorian as well. She's been everywhere, but I think she does a
Yeah.
voice in Adventure Time eventually.
Oh, I hope so. That would be fun.
I know she's done
I know
voice
that
acting.
Steve Agee,
Ming-Na
Agee,
Wen.
how do you... Ming-Na Wen.
Yeah.
Steve, how do you say his last name? Agee?
Like two
Agee.
letters. AG. Yeah.
Right. So Steve Agee is our second Sarah Silverman show person that we've run into in Adventure Time, which is kind of cool.
Who was the first?
Sarah Silverman's sister was in one episode.
I wonder. Tom Kinney may have shown up on Sarah Silverman as well. Because Tom Kinney comes from Mr. Show with Bob and David, and a lot of those
who does-
people went to, or like there's an overlap between there and Sarah Silverman.
Oh, and Tom Kinney is the Ice King.
Ice King, yeah.
Kenny, not Kinney.
Oh, I thought it was Kinney. Oh no,
It's-
there's a
it's
different.
Kenny, but you might
No,
have
there's
an
another
accent.
comedian Kinney that I'm getting confused with. I think one of the kids in the hall is Kinney.
Yeah, Tom Kenny did a bunch of SpongeBob SquarePants stuff.
Yeah, he's SpongeBob.
Is he SpongeBob?
I think so. He's either SpongeBob or like one of the other main characters. I've never seen that show, but he's
Oh
like
my
one
God,
of
I'm
the
gonna
mains on
look.
that show.
I'm looking right now.
Yeah.
Tom Kenny, he's SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't realize that Ice King was SpongeBob.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's cool.
I can remember SpongeBob or like the Starfish Man. I've literally never seen an episode of that show.
And speaking of Ice King, let's do our intermission-y thing where we have a segment because the next episode is excellent. I mean, I really, really, really like the Marceline episodes, especially the ones where we get to see little glimpses of her past. One of the things that's really interesting, so Ash doesn't really show up again until the series finale. He joins Gumbald's army at the very end, but he doesn't really show up again. However, the thing about Hambo being sold to a witch, that is a plot element that that is handled, I think, in a future season. I don't know. We'll come back to it.
No, I think it's like
Yeah.
I think it might be the last season or second to last. It's much later.
Yeah, it's way down the road.
Yeah.
So let's do a segment.
Oh wait, wait.
Let's.
I do have one piece of trivia that I thought you were going to bring up. This you didn't
Okay.
bring up. So when Finn's in his memory house, he walks by pictures on the wall, and you see Margaret.
Oh, yeah?
With other
Uh-huh.
dogs. So the implication, at least according to the Wikipedia, is that Finn and Jake may have had or have other brothers.
Like not just Jermaine.
Yeah, not just Romaine. Yeah.
That never gets explored.
Yeah, no, I mean it's just it's implied by pictures, so it's not exactly the most like
Maybe the
concrete
rest of
evidence.
the rest of their siblings didn't make it through the Rainicorn Dog Wars.
I mean it's horrible, but it's probably true.
All right, so let's get into. Do you have any shiny rocks for us today?
I do, and I'm trying to find them. Leucocali.
Leucocali. I would say Leucocali must have something to do with being. It sounds like it has to do with a humor, one of the humors, like your leukocytes or something, which are blood. Is it sanguine? Is it being sort of fired up and rawr?
I mean, you're not a million miles off, but no.
Okay, cool. How many miles off do you think
It
I am?
is a state of feeling that accompanies preoccupation with trivial and insipid diversions. So leucocali is like when you get like obsessed with like tiny things or just kind of stuff that you don't need to be paying attention to at that moment.
Okay. All right.
Here, the other thing I have, and this probably won't go too much because did I ever do the languages from phrases in other languages that don't really work in English?
You've done phrases in other languages that that English should have, but I don't know if you've ever done ones that don't really
well,
work.
this sounds familiar. I'm not going to say the language because I don't. It doesn't say. I just found a list of these. This looks like Portuguese, maybe. Tanto pedo para cagar aguado. And it translates loosely to "so much farting for such watery shit." Like it's kind of like all this fuss for nothing.
Yeah. So much farting for all this watery shit.
Yeah, which
I like it.
Yeah, it's quite funny. There was another one I wanted to. Oh yeah, this was the one I wanted because I want to bring this into English. So there's a Dutch expression, "Zijn kat storgen," to send
Zijn.
one's cat. It means not showing up. So like everybody's present for the meeting, but Tom sent his cat in. Like yeah, so like, are you gonna go to the party? Nah, I don't know. I'll send
I'm
my cat.
sending my cat.
Yeah, which I think is a really really fun thing.
The IJ in Dutch is pronounced I, so ZIJN is Zijn.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. Dutch is a mystery to me. When it's spoken, I'm like, oh, it's kind of German, but then when I look at it, I'm like, fuck if I know.
I've always enjoyed Dutch. It's one of the languages that I've studied a little bit of. I'm not super good at it, but I
Okay,
can read
one
it and
last.
sound like a German person reading Dutch.
Yeah, one last one. A Finnish word, which is kalsarkanit, KALSARIKA with the two dots at NIT. It is drinking by yourself in your house in your underwear with no intention of going out. And the translation
That
is
is-
literally underpants being drunk.
Underpants being drunk.
Yeah.
That is something that I do enjoy doing on a really hot summer day.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
underpants drunk is great. Yeah.
If I've got the makings of a gin and tonic and I've got like a pint glass in the freezer that I can just get super, super cold and I can fill it all the way up full of ice and then make a gin and tonic in it and just slouch on the couch in my underpants and
Yeah.
watch Adventure Time. It's the best way to watch Adventure Time.
just one small thing, and I'm never,
Okay.
I'm not one to correct people on the way they say stuff or whatever, but that was the largest amount of words you could have used there. You said the makings of a gin and tonic. Those are the
makings of a gin
ingredients
and
at the end of
tonic.
the sentence. You just said if I had gin and tonic.
The makings of a gin and tonic
Gin
include
and tonic.
gin, tonic water, limes,
Oh,
ice
you-
cubes.
oh, you want
Like,
limes. Okay.
all of the makings. I need the makings.
right,
you know,
fine,
it's
fine.
not
No,
just
I'll
not
give you-
just
I'll-
two ingredients. What kind of barbarian do you think I am?
Someone that drinks gin and
I'm
tonic.
already going to be drinking a G&T in my undies.
Man, I had all the makings of vodka, soda, vodka.
Yeah,
soda.
which is like a glass, ice cubes.
I guess I just imagine. I don't imagine a world in which you don't have a glass or ice cubes. Is why I find it funny.
Oh, I've been in that world.
All right.
You know, I lived in an RV.
You didn't have glasses in your RV?
Oh no, not glasses, just cups.
Oh,
And you know, ice cubes were tough to get. You know, they weren't just like automatic. I don't remember if the freezer in the RV worked.
yeah. So you had like a shitty RV on top of.
It was a 1975 Winnebago Itasca. All right, it was old. It was old. It was older than you.
Yeah. Well, 1975. So that was so you.
Oh wait, it might have been a 74. It was older than me.
Yeah. So 74. You were what? 15, 16 years old. So yeah.
In 74?
I'm intimating you're quite old.
That's. I wish.
Hey,
Someday.
Speaking of segues, let's talk about the next episode, Hitman.
Oh, Hitman, which is an episode that Jesse Moynihan helped to write. I kind of feel like, in a way, I can sense it's a Jesse Moynihan episode by the level of weirdness in it.
Yes.
But there's also one of the things I really enjoyed about this episode. One of the things that, because I mean, first of all, it's solid. The main story is a pretty solid episode, but the side story that brings into focus one of the questions of the Adventure Time universe, like where do they get meat?
Yeah, that was gross. Yeah.
Because I don't know if we ever discover who Meat Man is. I'm going to go look on the wiki right now.
I mean, the
and
important
see.
question is, do you think it hurts Meat Man when he gives us his meat?
I don't know.
That's
I just love that. Okay, so we know that. My feeling is Meat Man is probably part of the hot dog kingdom.
Well, so okay, here's not to get gross, but I mean, technically everyone is a meat man.
Right, but you don't just turn into cold cuts or have the ability to, like, I don't know, peel cold cuts off of you. Oh, God. Do you think Meat Man shows up at the tree house and, like, peels cold cuts off of him or, like, slices them off with, I don't know, like a cheese cutter or something like that, and they just get, like, a pile of Meat Man slices?
Yeah, I think he probably screams
Gross.
while it happens, but it's the
Oh
only way
my
he can
God.
make money.
Oh,
She's like, "Hey, what do you need?
That's so
Yeah, I
gross.
need a pound of you." Oh, fine. Ah! And he's just shoving his arm in one of those slicers from the deli.
it's so awful.
Yeah, it's a really horrific thought, and I'm glad that this show brought it to
Made
our
us
attention.
think it.
Hey, speaking of horrific things, this is an actual thing. We start this episode in the Breakfast Kingdom, and
Yeah.
the Ice King is stalking Breakfast Princess, who is having breakfast in bed, which is mildly
With
confusing
Toast
she
Princess.
is. What's that?
With Toast Princess,
With
her
Toast Princess,
sister.
yes, and which is weird because they're somewhat cannibalistic.
Well, except candy people eat candy.
Do they?
Yeah. And they make everything out of candy.
I know they make. I don't remember. Did they eat? Do we see
Yeah.
Candy eating candy?
We see Candy eating candy. I'm pretty sure we do.
The only thing I can think of
Just
is
like-
gum is a lemon grab.
I think we see Candy eating candy.
I mean, I'm sure you're right. I just can't pull an example from my head. But anyway, this is where I'm driving at, though. Ice King shows up. He's being a creep. So Breakfast Princess calls up Finn and Jake to show up, and they ground him. And it is a lovely sequence that somehow
man.
they talk him into being grounded. But
It's
Finn refers to him as "Get out of here, bubble butt." And dude,
Sure enough.
he's got cheeks. Like they got him he's stacked.
shiny, bubbly
Yeah.
cheeks. Yes,
Which-
he literally is a bubble butt.
Oh, that reminds me. Have I used this word on the show before as a shiny rock? But Calipagian.
No.
Calipagian is like having like a really nice, big, juicy butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew that word. I knew that one.
Sure you did,
It was in
smarty.
there. It was in there somewhere. Yeah. So the thing grounding Ice King is such an excellent way for Finn and Jake to deal with them, right? Because it's well established that Ice King is stupid powerful. Like Ice King has just ridiculous levels of magical power, and can easily defeat Finn and Jake if his head were on straight and he really wanted to. And so watching that happen, watching them just use his madness against him like that, I thought was a really, really clever way to defeat him.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also it's a little bit kind of taking advantage of the elderly and the infirm. I mean, the man's he's like an old man with dementia.
They're not. They're protecting themselves.
Yeah, but
They're protecting people.
I guess, but I mean, who's protecting the Ice King?
He doesn't need protecting, which we discover in this episode. He's pretty good at surviving on his own.
He's a lonely old man that just wants friendship, and what they do is they go back to your lonely mountain kingdom. I think it's a little harsh, dare I say, cold of them.
Now, honestly, every time Ice King leaves his mountain kingdom, he tries to kidnap a princess, and they don't have any way of really stopping him. So grounding him and making him stay home is a really, really good way to do it, because they're not going to kill him. They can't lock him up. I know that there is a time that they fool him, they trick him into being locked up, but it's fake. Like they just have to trick him to be someplace and stay somewhere in order to protect the princesses.
Yeah, I mean, but what they could do is maybe get some like cardboard princesses, like models, and put them in and just talk them into thinking that's a real
Wait,
princess.
so you're saying just sacrifice cardboard princess? Just send cardboard princess to be?
Yeah, take one for the team. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Get in there.
One of the things I love about this episode is we learned that Lumpy Space Princess is Ice King's least favorite princess.
I mean, it makes sense. She's really irritating.
Yeah. She is.
Yeah, let's get back to his bubble butt. No,
Okay,
no,
hold on.
just kidding.
I'm gonna open a beer. I want you to see it first, though.
Okay.
This beer is Hail Eris.
Oh, nice.
Oh my god, it matches my nails. That was an accident. This beer was brewed, I think, back in 2020, and it was brewed by my friend Matt Anthony, who has Witch Dog Brewing up in Tacoma. And it's it's a weird beer. It's
It's flavored like apple.
a Berliner Weisse with blueberries and marshmallows. So but it's old now, and it's had a lot of time to bottle condition. So it's kind of cloudy. It's kind of pink, which is strange. It is fairly tart now, so it's kind of lost a lot of the fruity sweetness, and sometimes it opens as a complete disaster. So we're just going to see how does that. I better do the turning.
Yeah,
trick.
the Better Call Saul can turning trick.
I'm doing it right now. I'm turning.
Yeah, so we were doing this on an episode I was editing recently, and we didn't tell anybody, and I'm like, man, this makes no sense. There's an episode of Better Call Saul where a guy has a shaken up can of Coke, and Howard Hamlin decides to put it on the counter and spin it like 3 times, spin it Widdershins 3 times, and it stops the carbonation from exploding when you open it. But you and I did this on the show, and we didn't describe it, and I'm like, man, I wonder what somebody listening to our program that hasn't seen Better Call Saul or listened to me pride a lot about it before, what the fuck are they thinking is happening right now?
I mean, it's a good trick. It works pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great trick,
Yeah,
but now,
so-
now audience
yeah.
at home will never explain it again.
Okay. Yeah, we might explain it every single time, because if I go over
Last
to
time we
Alex's, if we record at Alex's house, which we usually do, I bring beer over, and since I walk, it gets kind of shaken up in my backpack. Okay, too much backstory on beer.
Yeah.
Hold on, let's see how this tastes. Oh god, that is such a good beer. It's so weird. I love it.
Well, hilarious.
Hail Eris. All hail Discordia.
Callisti or whatever.
So they ground Ice King, which is what sets everything in motion, because it turns out that even when Ice King is at home grounded, he can still cause way too much trouble.
Yeah, him having an internet connection is both confusing and a really bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, we see internet connections happen all over the place in OO. I'm not really sure who does it or why there's still internet or how that works, because it doesn't look like normal internet.
It's probably TCP/IP, princess.
Or maybe it's magical.
Or
I mean, we've learned that there's
AWS princess.
We do learn that there is a weird overlap between magic and technology later on. Like some things that appear to be magic are just really advanced technology. But I think also the internet thing mostly shows up in wizard houses, possibly.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know we saw Jake with his electronic magazine that one time.
True. Let me see.
But anyway, the point is, when he is on the internet, he orders a hitman
Named Scorcher.
named Scorcher. But what he doesn't understand is he thinks it's a hitman to go and like literally give him a little slug on the arm, like he's going to hit them. What he actually hires is a soulless killing machine that tries to burn
God.
Finn and Jake to death, and he arrives in a
terrifying
cloud of
killing
black
machine.
smoke. It's fucking horrific.
Oh my God. Sort of like some sort of weird mummy isn't the right way to describe him. He's bandaged like a burn victim or something like that with these searing eyes that
Yeah.
actually have little flames coming out of them. Yeah.
It's
he
very
makes
like,
contracts
like Persian or like Middle Eastern, kind of like an Ifrit or like a
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
he
djinn.
totally yeah, and I think he must be something like that, because he conjures contracts out of nowhere, and you have to sign them and stuff.
I was expecting you to know this from. Wait, let me rewrite that. I was expecting this to be a Dungeons and Dragons thing that you were going to tell me about. So it sounds like this
It's
isn't.
not a Dungeons and Dragons thing that
okay,
I know
yeah.
of. I honestly, I don't know where he came from, but I think he's an amazing character.
the design's
and
fucking
a
cool. Yeah.
terrifying character. Yeah. Just the fact that he floats kind of, and he's got those rags, and he's so cool looking. Yeah, and so this whole thing, it's kind of one of the I don't know exactly what the trope is, but the trope of like one person trying to prevent another person from knowing that something's going on, like solving problems, being like, oh, sorry, there was nothing happening here. Like Ice King just constantly trying to cover up the fact that Scorcher is trying to kill Finn and Jake.
Yeah.
He doesn't realize it at first, but even when he does realize it, and Finn and Jake having this whole just sort of like existential meat man crisis going on through the episode in the background.
Yeah, which is really gross. I mean, I think we covered Beatman enough, but we really get to the point that like imagining a sentient pile of meat that gives out. I'm imagining like Pizza the Hut from Spaceballs. Like just this
Just sort of
Jabba-like thing, with just
slopping pieces of them.
just
I imagine
salami.
kind of like a giant rotund man creature, the color of bologna, who just shows up with like one of those things you use to carve pieces off of a doner kebab.
Oh yeah, I was about to say he's like living shawarma.
He's like living shawarma. Oh God!
Oh, I did like in a small moment of this. So Ice King realizes that the Scorcher is trying to kill Finn and Jake, so he tries bribing him off the contract by giving him extra money. But one of his bribes includes like an animatronic deer head. It is such a fucking random.
It's like, I wish I was alive. I want to live, which is great. And then they have an amazing fight, and it's fire versus ice. Like it's a great running battle between Ice King and the Scorcher while Finn and Jake are trying to stay alive. And Ice King has a moment of clarity where he comes up with a really good idea to save their lives by faking their deaths.
Yeah.
And it kind of made me think that we got like a little glimpse of Simon. Simon's cleverness.
No, I got you. I
Because-
was just wondering if I
Yeah.
agree with that or not. Yeah, I don't know, because it is a really dumb idea though. Like Finn is a human. You can't just freeze
Yeah.
a human haphazardly and then sit
then
on it
thaw him
like a
out by
mama
sitting on
duck.
him.
Yeah, that's. I mean, so
Yeah.
yeah, it is somewhat clever, but it's also just bone-jarringly stupid.
Oh, it is, yeah, but it is still a fun episode.
Oh yeah, totally. I think
I love that. One of my favorite scenes, though, when Iceman and Scorcher when Ice King and Scorcher both show up, is that scene where Jake is pensively staring out. He's like opened up a big hatch on the top of the treehouse, and he has his morning cup of coffee, and he's like staring out over the landscape, and his pupils are really big, and he just looks so pensive. And there's this thing where he's like, Finn, are you awake, man? I had a dream about Meat Man. I think I'm going to stop eating Meat Man.
It's kind of awesome.
It's so gross.
I wish Meat
It's
Man
so,
had shown
like-
back up.
Yeah.
We need to discuss. So when the episode resolves, the Scorcher offers Simon a contract to say like, "Oh, your services are no longer needed," kind of thing. Now,
Yeah,
I
and he
have
signs it.
Yes, and I have the what is on that piece of paper. I transcribed it for us. Echoes of past events nudge the tiller on my present course. I await its reflection in the future. And then a signature line. What the fuck does that even remotely mean? Even on like a meta level, what the fuck is that?
I feel like I know what that means.
Oh, please.
Okay, so echoes of past events refer to Princess Bubblegum turning Gumbald and the other two people into idiot candy people with the Dum Dum juice.
Okay.
Nudging the tiller on his present course is probably referring to the fact that Scorcher ends up on Gumbald's side, on the bad guy's side, in the final battle. Although Scorcher abandons Gumbald when Golb shows up.
Yeah.
That's my interpretation of it.
I mean, I don't have a
think
better
that's
one.
necessarily what it meant. I don't think that they had all that planned out in season 3, so I
No.
don't think that's But when I look at it, that's. But here's the thing: there were two pieces of paper. The first piece of paper, the one that Ice King signed, that showed his signature, and he signed it. It looked like KLKIG.
Oh, yeah. I didn't freeze frame that one. I freeze framed the other one because it looked like.
And then the other piece of paper like poofs into being after Scorcher vanishes. So yeah, I guess I love how enigmatic and weird that note is. I'm sad that it doesn't end up being more significant because Ice King just tosses it away. Like he doesn't give a shit. He's like whatever.
It rings familiar to me that I think this is brought up again, or these words are brought up on the show. I don't know why, but like because. I don't think I would have remembered it from last time I watched this episode, but anyway. Let's the audience at home, keep your ears open that this might show up in the next 6 seasons. But also just think about the writers' room of like, all right, guys, we've got this kid show. We're finished the episode. At the end, the transdimensional assassin fireman poofs out of existence and leaves a note behind. What do you think should be on the note? Oh, here, I got it. Echoes of past. Like, it's so that's got Jesse Moynihan written all over it. Yeah.
Like that is totally a Jesse Moynihan note. I know that he wrote that. I'm certain. I mean, I guess I don't know, but I feel certain.
I believe you to be correct. That this feels very Jesse Moynihan-y.
Yeah, and so I mean that episode. There's really only a few speaking characters. The Breakfast Princesses are voiced by one of the voice actors that they use for princesses all the time. And then it's just, the three main characters.
Yeah. Also,
which is easy because Scorcher never speaks. Oh, did we talk about? Oh God, I didn't write down the name. What's the name of the mecha Hitman?
Blastronaut.
Blastronaut. Yeah.
Which turns out it's just a goblin in a mech suit.
Yeah, it's just a tiny little goblin in a mech suit. And that's literally a god. It's so funny because like Scorcher is something that we don't see anywhere else. Like Scorcher has got to be some kind of demon or something. But so there are sometimes just those sort of like creatures that are just one-offs. But then there are goblins. We know there are goblins.
Yeah.
There are goblins all over the place. So
Yeah.
that's just kind of funny.
Big props to Tom Kenny for saying boing loings so many times.
Boing loings. Boing
That's
loings.
really
Boing loings.
that's a tongue twister right there.
It is, but I love also that it worked. He had to say it so many times that finally Scorcher looks.
Yeah.
He's like, what the hell are boing likes?
Yeah. Fun time.
But apparently that phrase is going to... This is the first time that phrase is used in the show, and it'll show up again.
I don't have anything else on this one.
I don't either. Should we vote for our favorite supporting character?
Nicely remembered. We should. And
My vote...
Yeah, please. Please.
...is for the mouse in Marceline's dream house, where there's a scene where Finn and Jake show up. They crawl into a new memory, and there's a close-up that's just... There's a close-in shot that's just Finn, Jake, and this mouse. Just their heads. They're all about the same size, having a conversation about what to do next, and the mouse just sits there and looks at him. And then they go on.
I
to
mean,
the next scene.
it's an absolutely strong contender for best not major character.
And the other one has to be Blasternaut
Yeah, that's Blasternaut was the one that I was.
that you were going to pick.
Well, Blasternaut, or I think technically Hunts and Abathir would count as the kind of a minor character.
Oh, we didn't even talk about Hunts and
I mean,
Abathir.
yeah, there's that flash.
Oh God, I was so excited. I mean, it's Hunts and Abathir eating Marceline's fries.
Yeah, as shown in the song "Daddy, Why Did You Eat My Fries?"
Yeah, and he did have a line. So that was Marceline's dad and the actress's dad.
Yeah,
The Olsens. It was the Olsens
Yes.
or whatever they're called.
Olsen is the last name. I can remember the first name though.
Yeah, me neither. Olivia Olsen and her dad.
Oliver.
But Oliver, yeah, that's got to be it. Yeah, I would. Shit, I gotta vote for Hunts and Abathir. Then he deserves an award.
Yeah, he does.
He was true to character.
Yeah, creature of pure evil. Gotta love him.
I think Baby Finn would also be worth voting for.
Yeah, but I mean, technically, it's still Finn.
He's a main
Though
character.
that'd be
Yeah, it's still
fine,
Finn.
but like,
Yeah.
technically, it's still Finn. If he wasn't singing, I think maybe we could have argument that it's a minor character. But
True.
So let's do a thing we like to call what have you been reading, doing, looking at, imbibing, cartwheeling over lately.
I've been reading a book that I've been enjoying a lot. It's called The Hemlock Cup. It's by Bettany Hughes. Bettany Hughes is sort of she's an archaeologist who ended up being kind of one of those, like a celebrity scientist sort of person. She hosts a lot of like archaeology TV shows and stuff like that out of BBC stuff. And the book itself is about Socrates' world. So it talks about Socrates and the life of Socrates, but also tries to kind of like paint a picture of Greece at that time in the 5th and 4th centuries BCE. And I'm really enjoying it. I am learning a lot, but also she's a really excellent author who does just kind of a really good job painting the world. And so, yeah, I'd recommend it. Anybody who's kind of interested, I'd say it's written for an audience that knows very little about Plato and Socrates. So if you are totally ignorant of ancient Greece, in up to any level, it's a fun one.
No,
How about you?
I have been reading the first law books by Joe Abercrombie, which I've been enjoying. But if anybody's read those books, or if you're going to be reading those books, I have something to bring up. This motherfucker uses grimacing 1,500 times a book. He is fucking obsessed with that word, and it is driving me up a tree. There's a word that I like called batology, which is a wearisome overuse of words. This is batology on the highest. It is. I literally thought of how I could get it from my Kindle to a DocX, so I could do Control F and count how many instances of it is, because it is fucking constant. And I only noticed it because the first book I listened to on audiobook, and the guy he goes grimacing, like he just said it slightly. The emphasis is in like a slightly different spot.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, that's weird. And then I just noticed they used it again and used it again and used it again. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's fucking obsessed with this word. Get a fucking thesaurus, dude. But I mean, the books are very good. This is such a minor thing. But I picked up on it and I'm like, I want someone to agree with me. This is.
Do you feel like every time you hear that word now you grimace a little bit?
No.
And the actual follow-up question has to be, did you go to McDonald's and get like the Grimace anniversary shake?
I almost didn't post about this problem because I'm like, I don't want to sound like I'm like some kind of fucking Gen Z kid doing like a dumb TikTok thing about Grimace. No, it just happened to be during this Grimace debate. I'm reading a book that says Grimace a million times. Oh, also really quick, I saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3 finally.
Oh, how was it?
It was really good. Suffers from the every movie has to be really fucking long thing that happens lately, but he really turned down Marvel does that thing where, and I think probably Guardians of the Galaxy started it, where it ruins emotional moments by making a dumb joke at the end of it. And
Yeah,
he turned that down a lot. Like he let you like really sit with the
good,
emotions
good.
of the piece. And I really liked
That's
it.
nice.
I got choked up a couple times. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
really good. And the character arcs that they bring you through feel really earned. There's a couple of
Mm-hmm.
spots where I'm trying to word this in a way that doesn't spoil anything. There's a couple of spots where a lesser movie would have done it this way, and it seemed like it was going that way, and they didn't do it. They went in a more natural, like
Sweet.
just it was really fulfilling. Totally worth it. The High Evolutionary is the villain of the piece, and he's
Oh, really? Is he? What color is he?
well, he's a black dude. He's actually the black guy from Peacemaker, the leader of his team.
Really?
Well, not the same character, but that actor.
Right. Oh, man.
But he's wearing
Okay, that's
like
cool. He's a great
He's wearing
actor.
like a purple suit with like a purple headband thing.
Okay. Does he have the fin on the top of his head? and
No,
stuff
he just
and-
looks like a guy a little bit. But
Okay, I don't know if you've seen pictures of the High Evolutionary in the comics, but he's a pretty ridiculous looking character.
in the 90s, but it's not fresh
Yeah.
in my mind. But yeah, no, it's super. Yeah, he does a great job. He's a really good villain. It's like I kind of wish like I kind of wish he was Kang. You know, like Kang's the next big guy. I'm like, no, this actor's fucking terrifying. Like he does some really good work.
Well, High Evolutionary is a major opponent.
Yeah, I kind of remember
so,
that. And Chris Pratt, who I've been down on for quite some time, he put in the performance. Like he decided to show up and really like. There's a spot where he's like really upset about something, and dude showed up on set. Like he was there for it. Like he was screaming and
Sweet.
crying and like it was. I mean, it's kind of easy acting because it's like one emotion and you just go. You know, you can go full ham on it. But it's nice to see him commit. Instead of just this kind of phone it in, I'm a kind of handsome adventure guy actor. Like he actually he did the work, and it was cool to see.
So what you're saying is props to Pratt.
Props to Pratt, exactly. That is what I'm saying.
Excellent.
And Zoe
All right.
Saldana really knocked it out of
Who's
the park.
Zoe Saldana?
Gamora.
Oh, right, because they've got like alternate timeline Gamora. Right?
Yes, and she plays it
Yeah.
different enough, and the way she plays it different enough, it feels like a different character, which is hard to pull off because it's
Yeah.
the same character, but it's not the same character, and she lands it super well. So yeah, anyway,
Cool.
So yeah, good job, Mr. Gunn. This made me
Nice.
excited to watch your DC stuff when that starts happening.
That sounds like two strong recommendations: one book, one movie.
Well, the Book of the Law
and
is 3 books
and a
to be
cartoon.
fair. So yeah,
The Book of the Law.
yeah, that's the Joe Abercrombie thing I was
Oh,
talking about. Yeah.
Jesus. Oh,
No, it's not the Book of the Law. That's Crowley. Sorry, the first Law trilogy.
the first
yeah,
Law.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no. I mean, I had a book recommendation. So I
Yeah,
guess
but mine was awesome.
Mine is
No,
excellent.
those are some weird philosophical crap. I only read
Whatever,
Plato
people like
for
that shit.
Atlantis theory.
People come to this podcast because they want to hear the smart things that I'm doing.
I think people come so they want to hear me say dumb dick jokes about it. No, that is
boy.
why That is why
Maybe they
can come from
maybe
both.
this isn't the podcast they come to for the smart things.
Yeah. Well, no, it's no. Your book actually sounded interesting because I recently been I was on this like Atlantis kick like last month. Long story short, I was in my mind of Plato because he was the one that it's the only reference to Atlantis from back in the day. It's Plato. And it's so fucking obvious he's using it as a metaphor that he's not really talking about a city that sunk. Like it's so
Yeah.
fucking obvious. And it was like, because I hadn't read that shit in so long. I'm like, maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe he actually does sound like it's a real thing. It's like, no, that is 100%. Like, also, that other guy didn't think humans used to have 4 legs and 4 arms. That's a fucking metaphor, dude.
Yeah.
No, please go ahead.
I have an
I'm just being-
Atlantis
I'm being
question for you.
facetious.
I have an Atlantis
Yeah.
question. Since you've been on such an Atlantis kick, are there any favorite Atlantis theories or Atlantis hunting things that you have just really enjoyed looking into?
Sort of. I'll tell you this one that I think is it's kind of interesting. It's more fun. There's one of the Atlantean type things. There's Atlantis, there's Lemuria, there's Mu, there's
Right,
Shambhala or whatever the other one is. Like, there's a lot. High Brazil, like the whole thing. I was in one of the online researches. It was somebody was talking about how they're channeling information from Lemuria, one of the lost continents. And they were referring to Lemuria as that's the name of this place, which I happen to know. The Lemuria, that term was coined by a biologist named Philip Schrader. Now, it might not be 100% of the last name, but it's pretty close to that. And it's called Lemuria because he noticed that on either side of like Madagascar, where there's low kind of ocean thing, you find bones of lemurs. So as a biologist, he proposed that used to be above sea level, and that's how they got to both sides.
I love
and
that.
thus it's Lemuria. It's Lemuria. And
Oh my
fucking
God,
New Age
I
people,
love that so much.
New Age
I
people
love
connected to it, that it's like this big thing, and like really it's a biology. I mean, there's probably people screaming at home that I got that slightly wrong, but that's very much the gist of the thing. And,
No, I really I love that. Okay, can you tell our audience where to find us?
yes, you can find us at WizBiz Podcast on Twitter and on TikTok and on Instagram. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, and Twitch and
We also have a website.
yeah, we have a website.
WizBizPodcast.com.
We sort of have YouTube, though I don't think it's been set up yet. But
I might have finished that. We might be set up on YouTube. Go and check. We might have a video up
Yeah.
there. And also, if you go to WizBizPodcast.com/subscribe, it will tell you how to subscribe to this podcast so that you get new episodes in your favorite podcatcher or
Exactly.
podcast listening thing on your mobile device.
Oh, and on the note of where you can follow us, for me, I would just if you're on Blue Sky Social, the new site from the guy that invented Twitter originally, Jack Dorsey, I'm Alex Bolin on there, as I am on most social media sites. So if you're on there, come find me because I'm really enjoying it so far. It's utterly simple. It just reminds me of 2010 Twitter, which is a time
Nice.
I would desperately like to go back to. So yes.
So I've been on Mastodon, and I am on. I have an Arnemancy at pagan.plus on Mastodon, so you can find me there.
Excellent. All right, we will see you next time.
Yes, thank you, listeners.
Goodbye.
I'm a tough tootin' baby. I can punch your buns. Punch your buns. I can punch your buns.